Thanks for coming. Yeah. Let there be light, and there was light. Okay, this is a lovely little book. It does what I call the pocket trick. It goes very nicely in your pocket once you paid for it. It's a very slim volume with images, black and white images. And I think I'm going to read just towards the end of the book, which is set in New York recently, in the recent past, last year. But I just want to, looking at this earlier on and thinking, one of the first images is, you can see when you get the book, it's not up on the screen. It's of a rucksack that's been emptied, and it's the contents of my rucksack that I emptied into this sofa bed where I was staying in New York. And I sort of got that idea from, a lot of my stuff is influenced by film, and there's this fabulous film called Jane B by Agnes B, and it's Agnes Varda's portrait of Jane Birkin. And in one scene, she just says to Jane, empty your sack, empty your bag. And so she empties her handbag onto the steps somewhere in Paris. And they discuss the stuff in the handbag. So that's something that just, my version of it, basically. It's called From Sleepwalking to Sleepwalking. And I'm going to read Coney Island Beach. Where's some more somewhere? Oh yeah. Coney Island Beach. There's nothing like a nearly deserted beach in late afternoon in the autumn. Sun starting to lower its lid on the day. Temperature like spring. All seasons, all together, all mixed, not hot, not cold, not humid, just not. The light changes so slowly, clumps of dark green seaweed draped across rocks that are turning black. The French word for feeling is sentiment. All my sentiments are rising as I walk down to the water's edge. I'm sitting on a wooden groin. A happy family is behind me, taking iPhone snaps and giggling and paddling about in the sea. Oh, how I wish someone would bury them up to their necks in the sand and let the tide do the rest. Or maybe a gentler route. I hack up a mouthful of green snot and spit it, hoping the breeze will take it their way. It doesn't. And they laugh some more. I'm thinking, oh, happy people, chortle now while you can, because it's going to be over for you and everybody else really quite soon. Now the rocks have gone black and the sea ink. I turn away from the sun and my shadow looks like some sort of tower with a scepter on the top. A black dog passes, sun shimmering on the windows of an apartment block. It's not time to get up yet. Not quite time. Ode to the 59th Street Bridge. Oh, the 59th Street Bridge. Oh, the 59th Street Bridge. Oh, that bridge, the 59th Street Bridge. Oh, the 59th Street Bridge. Oh, that bridge, that 59th Street Bridge, that bridge that I could so happily jump off. Yes. Walking along Mercer Street after an absence from the city of New York for nearly a decade, I'm searching for Mercer Street books. November evening, 65 degrees. Thankfully, the bookshop is still there in a city where everything else has changed or closed down or just disappeared. It's an ordinary shop front. Inside one long rectangular room with wooden shelves. Every available surface is covered with books and sprinkled in dust. I wander about trying to remember titles, authors that I'm interested in, but I keep blanking over. Is it the jet lag? Is it the pill intake? The fact that it's summer weather outside and in autumn and inside there's no air conditioning. Drifting past the literary biography section, past Capote, Kafka, Bernice, something or other, Oscar Wilde. On the top shelf, The Double Life of Stephen Crane. Gold lettering on a shiny black spine. My mind on the blink. The name Stephen is speaking to me. In that room, light blue sheets raked across the floor, empty bottled Jamesons propped up against a chair leg. I can't see what. I can't see what. You lying down and going cold. Your heart stopped. Or you sit down and suddenly feel so exhausted, and then the life force drains out of you. The journey out, full of pain, twisted and wrenched. Go on then. Don't wake up. We all feel depressed. It's not depressing. At the Madison Diner on 1st Avenue and 53rd Street. I stayed in the apartment all day, just pondering and pottering about. Then after midnight I went out in my black hoodie and Vivienne Westwood black wool coat, the lower back panel flapping about like a shadow trying to escape. I enter the diner. It's always empty after midnight. Shook off my coat, flung my pair of black leather gloves onto the windowsill, watched them land in a sort of soft, twisty coupling. The tinkling of xylophone music is calling me up a flight of stairs to somewhere else, and I think of how much I love the faded luxury of the Sutton Place apartment. I haven't left it yet, but I'm dying to get back. I've always been entranced by the East River, and the view of the East River at dawn, at dusk, in the rain, in the glaring sunlight, the slow burn, the shock and awe of it all. So the waiter brings my order. Eggs a la Madison, a veritable trough of 2 poached eggs on an English muffin, smoked salmon and a dollop of tepid hollandaise sauce and an acre of hash browns. Later desserterise a glass vase of rice pudding with a long, elegant spoon, a decaf espresso, and not with the morphine pills. The days are long and the nights are short. A pack of bully beef jocks bundle into a booth behind me. They're drunk, they're young. Reflection in the window tells me not one of them is attractive. They're ordering disco fries. One of them said, "Don't be sad." Then he repeated the words, and it turned out he said, "What I said. Hear what you want. See what you can't. Speak what you're not." I look up, and then I look down into swirling lights. Fragments, images hurtle about in black and white. Dead swans transforming into giant black ants in little bo-peep drag. Easter bonnets and pinafore skirts all lying in a gutter. Bulrushes twisting against hurricanes. Wrenching up of pylons. All and everything shattering, turning to dust. A tower of light pours through the crown of my head, and I enter a portal. Stephen Crane is sitting in a wooden chair in a dirty, crumpled white linen suit. Handsome face, sallow skin, straggly moustache over full but compressed lips. Eyes large, black eyes. Eyes that are burning themselves out. About suffering, he said, and he paused. He was so handsome, and yet he seemed to be In despair over something, he cleared his throat. I watched his beautiful Adam's apple bob up and down. About suffering, they're never wrong. I start rambling to this Stephen, telling him about a pilgrimage I took out to his grave, out there in the Evergreen Cemetery in Elizabeth, New Jersey. I'd taken the NJ Transit that was so slow it was like riding on the back of a tortoise. I came out of the station, took a left turn. I'd wafted into the Mexican part of the city. What of the town? I was jittery with hunger. I went to the first place I saw, a dining room of sorts, and ordered shrimp rice. An enormous pile that took 40 minutes to arrive. I ate half, dashing out of the cafe as the light was fading. I found a taxiway. Ted, the driver, told me he knew where the cemetery was and would cost me $10 to get there. We drove through cross streets and by wood-fronted houses to enormous cemetery gates. Ted said he'd come back for me and gave me his cell phone number. It was mid-November. The sun had started to set and had already turned the trees gold and pink. I stumbled over lumps of earth, huge gravestones of angels sleeping and weeping, whole families buried in one big mound, and then a small wooden house in a clearing. As I was now lost, I asked Stephen where his gravestone was. No direct answer came, but after a while something guided me there. Stephen Crane, poet, author. I jangled about in my coat pocket and brought out 4 quarters and placed them across the top of his headstone. Then from my Stuart tartan rucksack, I took out a little bottle of rosemary oil and sprinkled it across the top of the stone. $1 and rosemary. I called Ted and stood at the cemetery gates awaiting his arrival. The sun was nearly done. Perhaps I should move here. Perhaps. Thanks.